part of this show called the Encyclopedia Show. In Chicago, it's put on by this guy, Robbie Q, who's an amazing poet out of Chicago, works with Young Chicago Authors, which is a great organization, kind of similar to the work that Dasha Kelly does here in Milwaukee. But he asked me to read something at this event. And with the Encyclopedia Show, basically they open an encyclopedia, point at a word, and everybody has to write a poem based on that word. Last month, the word was zodiac, and they assigned a zodiac sign to everybody that was participating, and I got Aries. And this is the poem that I wrote for that. I posted it on Facebook, so if you're on Facebook, you might have listened to it, or you might have just hit hide on the But I wasn't sure if I was going to read this one, and then I was like, I might as well, because, but then Nikki, you read your poem, beautiful, beautiful poem, and, you know, they're always, the one thing that I love about poetry is that people can write about the same thing, just from different perspectives, right, from different angles. So, as a poet, you never have to worry about writing a poem that somebody else wrote, because you're writing your own poem, right? And this poem is a different angle on the same subject that you wrote about. So I wanted to share this, and I hope it complements with what you wrote. So yeah, this one is called Dodgeball. The other one was called Kickball. This one is called Dodgeball. He's the oldest friend I got. Known each other for 30 years, we were BFFs in kindergarten. Dodgeball buddies. Rather, he was my dodgeball savior. Would jump in front of red dimple ball while I cowered, covering my head and other important parts. He had point guard hands, even at that age. Shipped off to private school in the 3rd grade, his parents thought it best because it's hard to be a kid when the South Side haunts the man out of view by high school. We lost touch for almost 10 years. Reconnect when my new best friend introduces Dave as his cousin. The stars align the three of us like Orion's belt. We pick up where we left off. Like our friendship was a chess game we shelved. The only thing different is the names we go by. He calls me Big E for obvious reasons. I call him Bone, his father's name. Born under the first sign, ruled by Mars and fire, Bone wore his sign like a fitted, courageous, independent, strong, golden, self-reliant, masculine, traits he only hinted at when the Southern made him comfortable enough. This became more apparent 2 years ago, when he had a run-in with the cancer. Not the kind born between June 21st and July 22nd, but the kind birthed from the inside out. The kind that eats its way through the body like piranhas, ravaging everything that reminds us how to love and be loved. The kind that changes bodies, rendered unrecognizable, makes our photos and memories obsolete. Amy was diagnosed shortly after the birth of their second child, hormone-induced. They've worn pink in some fashion ever since. 2 years remission, it begins its second ascent last spring. Optional double mastectomy, she suffers near death to save her life, wants to see her children grow up, she says. Bone was born under the first sign, ruled by Mars and fire, by courage and independence, by strength and self-reliance, by the masculine. He's become what he's supposed to. His reaction scripted by the placement of the sun at his birth. He hasn't cried since the diagnosis. But he's taught me how to love, how to be married, how to raise children, how to make things work, how to laugh, how to be strong. I wish I could show him the joys of crying, how it feels to let them run like wild horses galloping across your skin, how those tears he keeps to himself flood his memories of her, washes them away like New Orleans homes. I want to tell him that if he were to cry, every time he ran his fingers across her scars, he would erase them stitch by stitch and be reminded of everything she is, everything that made him fall in love with her, preserved in the brine of his tears. But David, a.k.a. Bone, a.k.a. my best friend, who's worn a pink wristband for the past 2 years, who I haven't seen cry in that same amount of time, is ruled by fire and Mars, by strength and courage, by the masculine. He is doing what he's supposed to because the stars have said so.